fellow freelancers. Today is a very good day for Anthem fans. Holy freaking moly, we have an Anthem loot table update here today from the lead producer, Ben Irving of Bioware, going over all the changes for the current Masterworks and I suppose legendaries. So stay tuned and let's get into it. All right, getting straight into the news, guys. Anthem loot update posted 11 hours ago. It's 7 a.m. sharp, and I am excited about these news. So let's get into it. Hey all, first off, thank you for the feedback around loot drops. This is what we have heard. Many inscriptions are not useful to the item they are attached to. Very true. Due to this, players need to get many masterworks of the same item to get a good one. Very true. Many want the frequency of masterworks drops to increase to help with the above, or they want us to change how the masterwork inscriptions work so they are more useful. Definitely. How about a bit of both? There's more feedback. The above is just a summary. So this is our plan to change to go live February 28th or March 1st Central US time. Now they don't give it a specific time, and looking at my origin, it is updating right now. There is an update. Now I want to tab out of this for a second, show you guys something real quick. This patch for February 28th, 2019, and this is what I don't understand about Anthem. The tethering timer missions has been increased to catch up to their squad, so yeah, there's that. The swarm tyrant encounter and the tyrant mines can no longer be reset by the entire squad exiting the main menu and rejoining the session in progress. Players are no longer able to reopen chests that have already been looted in strongholds. But I don't see any other news, and this is what confuses me. Why don't they utilize their main web page for their patch notes? I'm very, very confused by this, because as we're seeing here, there's a lot of stuff that's been changed, and they've done this in the past where they just change things randomly and you wake up and you're like, something's different here, but there's no patch notes on it. And I find it a very strange practice to not really make sure you have patch note changes. Anyways, I just wanted to go off on a side tangent. Didn't mean to fly off the rails too much. I'm just confused by it that we're using Reddit posts that don't necessarily outline the specifics, but rather just someone explaining them in a summary. But nonetheless, this is exciting stuff, and it should be in game as of right now if you're watching this video. So let's get into it. Inscriptions are now better for the items they are on. This applies to new items earned in Anthem, not existing ones in your vault. So you're gonna have to go out and reacquire your items. If an inscription applies only to the item on gear, so the gear icon, cog, it'll be useful on that item. Otherwise, the inscription will provide a javelin-wide benefit known by the javelin icon. For example, an assault rifle will not have an item-specific pistol damage inscription. It may have an electric damage suit-wide inscription, cool for a lightning build, for example. This is awesome. See more information below. Removed uncommon white and common green items from the level 30 drop tables. This was highly requested change, and we agree, so that's the case. Which is funny because after a while of not getting any masterworks and you're seeing commons drop, we had some jokes going around Discord, people going, another legendary uncommon. So you're gonna see blues, purples, and oranges and yellows popping out now, which is good. We have reduced the crafting materials. Hold on, now that those don't drop, are they being replaced by blues and purples? So you're gonna have more materials, because that's what I would imagine, right? The whites and greens are basically, because you should still have the same amount of loot popping out, otherwise you're just getting less loot overall. I would still prefer the greens because you can still get, you could craft what are they called, consumables with these. How are you supposed to get greens for green consumables? I like to stack some greens once in a while for like easy contracts and stuff. So hopefully they've replaced these with blues and purples, and you're just going to see more higher valuable drops. Anyways, we have reduced the crafting materials needed to craft a masterwork from 25 masterwork embers to 15 masterwork embers. No, this is a good thing, but I'm screaming because, as you guys saw from my yesterday's video showing off my interceptor sniper build, I crafted like 5 Truth of Tarsuses, which costed me like 125 materials, and that would have probably only cost me 75, so I would have saved 50 if I waited. And my Truth of Tarsuses are all trash, so I'm gonna have to go craft one again anyways. Hopefully I have some left over. As you salvage or harvest, you should be able to craft more masterwork items to get inscriptions you are looking for. Now that inscriptions are more relevant to their item, this should yield better results for the players. Additional inscription change details. It's hard to write a short version of this, but I'm going to try. If we need to add more information later, we can do that. Well, you should do that with patch notes, and you should add more information, and you should do it with patch notes. It's such a bad practice to not do that. Anyways, maybe I'm crazy and I'm not seeing it, and that's not where they post it, but it should be on their official site because that's what other games do. And anyways, let's keep going on. Current, there are large pools of inscriptions options available to roll items on. The inscription pools are generic example weapons. Every masterwork item has 4 inscriptions: major, minor, major secondary, major, minor secondary. The change, each item now has a specific set of inscription options for each of their inscription pools. The pools are smaller and targeted to specific item types. This is phenomenal. Example, there used to be a weapon pool, now there's an assault rifle pool, and the assault rifle pool has 4 pools for each of the inscription types listed above. Primary inscriptions are focused on damage or survivability. Any item-specific inscriptions gear icon will always benefit the item they're on. Javelin-wide inscription suit icon will benefit damage or survivability across the whole javelin. Secondary inscriptions focus on utility and can be targeted to item gear icon or an entire javelin suit icon. There are likely a bunch of questions. We will read through the comments, and if we need an additional post to clarify things, we will work on that. Thanks again for your support, Ben. I think large patch notes would let me just really break down the nitty and gritty, but it is what it is, and let's talk about it for a second because this is huge. Like the assault rifle pool has 4 pools for each inscription types listed above. So let's just say, for example, the assault rifle has major primary, minor primary, major secondary, major or minor secondary. I'm assuming the minors pull from the same pool and the secondaries pull from the same pool. It's hard to say for sure, but the primary would be likely roll higher than the secondary. So for example, you could get like plus 30% crit chance, but secondary would roll lower. I'm not exactly sure, but what this does mean is you're not going to get like plus pistol ammo on an assault rifle. You're going to get plus assault rifle ammo. Now that is, to me, having additional ammo on an assault rifle, a secondary or minor pool. So not the best roll, but because the pool is smaller, let's just theory craft for a second or make something up here. The assault rifles would have something like reduced recoil, which is like a minor to me, or a secondary. There would be something like increased ammo, crit chance, possibly a rate of fire, increased weapon damage. I don't know if that's physical damage or weapon damage is separate, but those are some pretty good examples overall. And now when you get an assault rifle drop, you're going to see things that benefit directly the assault rifle itself. And if there happens to be a javelin icon like increased lightning damage or something, as they mentioned above, that's going to apply directly to your character's abilities. So in some cases, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because there might actually be some stats that are technically useless if not paired properly with the abilities. For example, if you were to get a javelin ability cog or ability icon that says increased lightning damage and you're not running a lightning ability, then suddenly that does actually become a useless assault rifle in terms of that one stat. But the moment you run a lightning build on say like an interceptor running the sparking dash and detonating strike, then suddenly that assault rifle is boosting those 2 abilities and it does become useful. So what we might see from this is certain guns that you're going, I'm going to save this for this loadout, which is actually a positive, but there is still a chance where you get this weapon, you're like, oh darn, I don't really have a use for this on this javelin at this very time. But it still opens up a build options where you go, maybe I'll go start a ranger and use this blast damage abilities that I'm getting on all these weapons and make a blast ranger. So it's very interesting overall. And in terms of the gear, the javelin suit wide inscriptions benefiting survivability or damage across all javelins, that is something that could also technically roll on these weapons. So you might get one that increases your shields still, or your armor, or your resistance, or different things like that, or you might just get a base to like fire damage. One thing I hope to see, and I haven't really seen this too much, is priming. I would love a major primary on weapons to be plus fire damage, plus lightning damage, and that be a cog that directly affects the weapon. So now my gun is like shooting lightning bolts. That would be freaking amazing. And I know there are priming weapons in the game, but they seem to be properties based off of the main affix. So I would love to see it incorporated through inscriptions. Now here's the thing, they didn't actually cover legendaries in here, so I'm assuming all the changes made here to the Masterworks are also going to affect the legendaries. But back on like before this game was even released, they said in dev streams that the legendaries were going to have 6 inscriptions instead of 4. That's the whole point of going from a Masterwork. You know, greens were 1, blues were 2, purples were 3, Masterworks are 4, and then you jump to 6 with legendaries, hence the word freaking legendary, and they're only 2 points higher. So it's like you go from 46 to 45 to 47 item level with a legendary, and it does about 10 or 15% more damage and has 10 or 15% more shields if it's a component. So they didn't say anything about legendaries here, and I still think the item level should jump to like 50, and I think the damage should be increased by a significant amount, and it should have 6 inscriptions. So it would have been nice to see them say something about the legendaries here, because they are going to still be dropping. And the big thing about this whole patch here is you have to reacquire everything. So if legendaries are dropping for us and they make changes to those later, we're gonna have to reacquire those, and legendaries are already extremely rare. I think I've gotten like 4 my entire time playing the game. So, you know, I would have liked to see some changes there. Now, speaking of which, you're gonna have to reacquire these, which I don't really hate too much. When I was playing Anthem over the last couple days, I would log in, I'd do some legendary contracts, I'd go do a stronghold, which I've done a billion times, and then I would be kind of like, well, I'm getting Masterworks, but I don't know the point. They're just gonna fix these and it feels pointless. Like, I don't know why I'm playing this game. Just getting junk items for no reason, doing the same thing over and over again. This does reinvigorate me to play the game, and it should for many of you, because now you're basically starting from scratch. You throw out everything you have. I mean, use it until you get new replacements, but pretty much everything in your vault, just pretty much scrap everything but one, the best of everything, and just go out there and begin your loot hunt all over again, which is great because now you have something to look forward to. You're getting good drops for once. You're going to be building way better gear. And you know, I recently did a javelin build, and I was like, well, what about the other classes? I don't really want to go do builds for them, because I can't really, because these, like, with all these major, minor, secondary stats or inscriptions, they're not really doing much to make a cool build. And the builds are coming down to what weapons you use mixed with what components you use, and that's the build. But now we could do really crazy stuff like, look, I got plus lightning damage on 3 of these components, and 2 of these guns, and now I have like plus 800% lightning, and I can make a freaking lightning storm that's really badass. And other people might not be able to do that unless they so happen to get various, like, they have to work towards it. So I think this is really freaking cool. It adds a lot of life back into the game. It's the way it should have been when it launched, and if it was this way, you know, loot would have been very exciting and we would have been going very hard on it, and this was the biggest problem. We all knew this was the biggest problem with the game, and now they just have to focus on tuning it further, tuning the legendaries, and working on adding new content, and boom. So very exciting stuff, guys. I'm excited to get back into the game and see what starts dropping for me. If you guys have been playing already, come join us on my Discord and come post your new loot in our Anthem Drops channel. Information is down in the description below. We have a great little community going on here. Plenty of active members constantly playing in the group chats. So come join us over on Discord. And that's going to do it for me here today, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.